If you're watching this, please subscribe. My name is Eunice. I'm 27, based in Lagos. Tall, clean-skinned, and according to my friends, body like figure 8. I've always taken care of myself. My nails are always done, my edges laid, and my clothes, classy but not loud. Still, one thing has always confused me. Why don't men approach me? I walk past groups of guys and nothing. In the supermarket, at church, even on my street, I'm invisible. I used to think maybe I was intimidating, or maybe Lagos men just prefer loud girls. It got to a point where I stopped expecting. I just focused on work, my skincare routine, and stacking my money. That Saturday morning, I woke up with a sudden urge to stock up my kitchen. You know that feeling when your fridge is as empty as your love life? I took my bag, wore a simple bum short and a big tee, tied my scarf properly, and left for the supermarket. Coming back, I entered a Keke Narpep heading towards Yaba. I squeezed in with 2 girls and a guy who looked like someone that just left the gym. They were loud, laughing and chatting. I plugged in my earphones to avoid the noise, but one sentence cut through. The guy I met on that dating app has already proposed. We're doing introduction next month. I paused my music. They were still talking. The second girl said her friend also found a rich guy through that same app. Even the guy with them said his own cousin met her husband through online dating. I looked outside the Kiki, pretending not to care. But deep inside me, that conversation began to itch my thoughts. When I got home, I dropped the nylon bags on the kitchen counter and started unpacking rice, yam, seasonings, palm oil, and of course my big egusi stash. I arranged everything like a good Lagos girl who cooks and doesn't depend on food from restaurants. Afterward, I took a nap. When I woke up, the house was silent. It was just me and the ticking wall clock. I tied my wrapper and went to the kitchen to prepare egusi soup with pounded yam. As I stirred the soup and added locust beans, I found myself thinking about what I heard in the Kiki again. That dating app, what if it works? I sighed. Later that night, after dinner, I sat on my bed and stared at my phone. What's the worst that could happen? I thought. I'm not getting younger, at least I'll say I tried. I opened the Play Store and typed in the name of the app I overheard in the Kiki. I downloaded it, created an account, and carefully filled in my profile. Age, 27. Location, Lagos. Occupation, events decorator. Interest, books, beach, deep conversations. Then I picked the hottest picture I had, one in a wine dress with my hair curled and lashes popping. I uploaded it as my profile picture. Let the magic begin, I smiled. But for a whole week, nothing. No messages, no likes, no matches. I was about to delete the app and blame it on spiritual husband when the second week passed and on the third Saturday, my phone suddenly vibrated non-stop. 10 requests. I blinked. They all came in that same day. I accepted them, opened the chats, and started replying. Most were the usual. Hi, baby. You fine, Di. Are you real? Some were sweet, some were annoying, but among the bunch, one stood out. His name was David. His message? Just a simple, Hi, Eunice. You have kind eyes. That caught me. No sexy lips or yummy body. Just kind eyes. We started chatting. His grammar was clean, no over-Sabi vibes. He said he lived in Lekki, worked remotely as a real estate developer, and enjoyed reading African literature. I told him about my small event business. He was curious and supportive. By Monday evening, we were already exchanging selfies. His photo? Lord have mercy. Bearded, dark-skinned, full lips, dimples that could end wars. His shirt was unbuttoned just enough to reveal a tattoo on his chest, but it wasn't just the looks. He was consistent. "Good morning, sunshine. How was your day, love? I just ate fried yam. I wish I could share some with you." I found myself smiling like a fool. We graduated to voice calls. His voice deep, calm, charming. We started doing video calls, late night, no filters. One time he even sent me 30,000 naira to buy myself dinner after I casually mentioned I was tired of cooking. I was falling, and fast. It's funny how quickly you can get used to someone you've never even touched. By the second week, David had become my morning, afternoon, and good night. I knew his laugh, his silly jokes, and the way he always said, "You too fine a beg," whenever I turned on my video without makeup. He made me feel like a princess without lifting a finger. One Sunday afternoon, I was lying on my bed, pressing my phone, when his name popped up again. This time, it was a bank alert. 50,000 naira. "For you, baby, just because you exist," he texted with a heart emoji. I blinked. I had only mentioned that I wanted to fix my nails and get new hair products. I didn't even ask, and just like that, I was floating. I told Chinello, my best friend, about him. Her first reaction, suspicion. "Eunice, shine your eye, oh. All these dating app boys, and sometimes their mouth sweet past their intentions." I laughed it off. "This one is different. He makes me feel seen." But Chinello wasn't convinced. "Just take Am slow. I don't want to hear story that touches." Story that touches. I was already knee-deep. David sent long love paragraphs that melted me like suya under hot sun. He told me about how he had been hurt in the past and was scared to trust again, but that I reminded him what love could feel like. My God, it was like someone collected my dream man and poured him into one fine, bearded Lagos guy. Then one evening, out of nowhere, he asked for nudes. I froze. He didn't demand. He just said it softly, like a suggestion. "Babe, I want to see all of you. Just for me. I won't ever show anyone, I swear." I said no at first. He didn't push, but I could feel the shift after that. His messages weren't as sweet. The calls became shorter. My heart started racing each time I saw his name, not with excitement, but anxiety. I couldn't bear the idea of him losing interest. Maybe he just wants to feel closer. Maybe it's normal in relationships now. So I sent them 3 photos. Not too revealing, but enough to break my own rule. He sent fire emojis, told me I was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, called me his wife. I convinced myself I did the right thing. From there, we got closer than ever. He'd call me late at night and we'd talk for hours about where we'd go if we travelled together, what kind of kids we'd have. He told me he wanted to take me to Ghana, just the 2 of us. So nobody go disturb our love. One Wednesday evening, he said, "I want to see you in real life." My heart jumped. We set a date, Friday evening, just for cake and drinks at a cafe in Lekki. From there, I'd follow him to his house and spend the weekend. Just 2 days, nothing serious. I told Chinello about it. She raised her eyebrow. "You won't go sleep for man house where you never meet before?" "I know him, nah. We've been talking for weeks." She gave me that suit yourself look. "Okay, just carry pepper spray and share your location, I beg." That Friday, I wore my blue off-shoulder dress and applied subtle makeup. I packed a small weekend bag, nothing much, just 2 dresses, toiletries, my hair bonnet, and my favourite pair of tights. He picked me up in a clean black car. Lexus. Soft music played. He wore a white shirt, gold wristwatch, and had a light perfume scent that smelled expensive. But immediately I saw him in person. Something felt off. Yes, he looked like his photos. but not quite. He wasn't as tall as he claimed, said he was 6'1" online, but he barely passed my forehead in heels. His face had acne scars, and his skin looked weird, like someone who had bleached once and was now trying to repair it. His knuckles were dark, his smile a little too forced. Still, he opened the door for me, complimented my looks, and cracked a few jokes. I calmed down. Maybe I was just nervous. At the cafe, he ordered red velvet cake and strawberry milkshake for both of us. We laughed, gisted, talked about random things. I relaxed again. After eating, he looked into my eyes and asked, "So, ready for our little weekend adventure?" I hesitated, just briefly. Then I nodded. We drove to his place in silence, a gated estate in San Gotardo. The compound was neat. His house, massive. A duplex with black railings, white walls and glass windows. It looked like the kind of house that appeared in Nollywood movies. He opened the door and welcomed me in like a proper gentleman. "Feel at home," he said. "I have someone who cooks, so you won't have to lift a finger this weekend." That was when I saw her. The cook. A slim girl in wrapper and plain top, coming out from the kitchen with a tray. As soon as our eyes met, my heart skipped. I knew her. She was the girl I once helped at Tejuosho Market. I bought her red oil after she lost the money her madam gave her. But she looked at me blankly, like she had never seen me before. At first I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe I just mistook her for someone else. But no, I knew that face. Joy. That was the name she told me the day I met her at the market. She was in tears, standing helplessly near a stall, explaining to a seller how her madam gave her money for red oil, and somehow it got missing. People were shouting at her. I felt bad, so I paid for the oil, just 2,000 naira. She cried, knelt, and thanked me. Now here she was, in a mansion, wearing wrapper and slippers, holding a tray of fruits like a servant, and pretending I didn't exist. She dropped the tray on the dining table and walked back into the kitchen. Her expression didn't even flicker. Not a smile, not a blink, nothing. I told myself not to overthink it. Maybe she had a reason. Maybe she didn't want to expose herself in front of David. I swallowed my thoughts and smiled as David led me to the guest room upstairs. It was beautiful. Clean sheets, chilled AC, big bed. He brought me bottled water and told me to relax, that he'd order food so I wouldn't have to eat ordinary swallow like he joked. "You're too fine for that," he said, kissing my forehead. I laughed, but my mind was still on the cook. That night we watched a movie in the sitting room. Something didn't sit right with me. The house was too quiet for its size. I expected staff or movement, but besides Joy I didn't see anyone else. No security, no driver, no houseboy. Just Joy, just silence. David was sweet as always. He held my hand, cracked jokes, and even offered to give me a foot rub. Still, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., while he snored beside me, I tiptoed out of the guest room and went downstairs to get water. I paused near the kitchen. Joy was there, washing plates under the dim light. "Joy," I whispered. She froze. "I know you remember me," I said louder. "Why are you pretending?" She didn't look up. Instead, she turned off the tap and wiped her hands with a towel. "You need to leave this house," she said. My stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" She looked around as if making sure no one was listening, then leaned close. "That man, he's not who you think he is." I blinked. "Explain." Joy's voice shook. "He's an organ seller. He brings girls here, just like you, kills them, removes their parts. You see all these quiet corners and locked rooms. You're not the first girl to sleep in this house." I stared at her, mouth wide open. She continued, I'm not really Joy. I'm Joseph. He made me disguise. I clean, I cook, and I help him. But I've been trying to escape. I took a shaky step back. Number, you're lying. I wish I was. He looked into my eyes. Do you want proof? My throat went dry. I couldn't speak, but I nodded. Joseph led me past the staircase to a corner door, one that blended so well into the wall that I hadn't even noticed it earlier. He opened it slowly and motioned me inside. The hallway smelled damp. I gagged at the mix of bleach, metal, and something rotten. He opened a door at the end. What I saw made me drop my water bottle. A girl, no older than 22, lay half submerged in a bathtub. Her chest was sliced open, her stomach too. Her body was bloated. Her face was pale, almost grey. There were dried bloodstains on the tile. Her eyes were open, staring blankly at the ceiling. Her organs were gone. I stumbled back, grabbing the wall to stop myself from falling. I warned her, Joseph whispered. She thought he loved her too. I warned her, Joseph whispered. She thought he loved her too. I felt bile rise in my throat. I rushed out of the room and leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Why haven't you called the police? I asked. I tried, but I'm not even allowed to leave the compound. There's a tracker on me. If I disobey him, I die next. I was shaking. Every part of me screamed run, but I couldn't move. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to wake up from this nightmare. Joseph grabbed my wrist. You don't have much time. He's planning to finish you off tomorrow. You must leave now. I nodded slowly, breathing through my nose. I need to alert someone. Do it fast, he whispered. Back in the guest room, I crawled into the bed beside David, who was still snoring softly. I reached for my phone under the pillow and opened WhatsApp. I sent a live location to my elder brother, Ifeanyi, a Navy officer stationed at a Papa base. I typed just one message. If anything happens to me, check this place. I deleted the chat immediately, turned off my data and dropped the phone. David stirred beside me, turning to face me. His eyes opened halfway. You okay? I smiled. Yeah, just cold. He pulled me close and wrapped his arms around me. I pretended to be okay. Inside, my chest was about to explode. I couldn't die here. I didn't sleep a second that night. Each tick of the wall clock felt like thunder in my ear. My chest was heavy with fear. I lay still as David breathed beside me, his arms draped over my body like chains. Every time he adjusted, my heart jumped. Morning came with the sound of birds outside and the soft hum of the generator. I waited for him to rise before I moved. He sat up, rubbed his eyes, and gave me a lazy smile. Good morning, wifey. I forced a smile back. Morning. I'll be stepping out for a bit. Need to see a friend about something urgent, he said, yawning as he pulled on his slippers. Feel free to watch movies or relax. Joy will take care of anything you need. I nodded. Okay, I'll just rest. He leaned over, kissed my cheek, and walked out casually like he hadn't murdered people in the house. As soon as I heard the front door close, I jumped out of bed. I ran down to the kitchen and found Joseph cleaning a pot. I didn't waste time. We have to do something now. He's gone. Joseph wiped his hands and said, Come. There's one more thing I need to show you. I hesitated. My legs didn't want to move. But something told me this might be the final push I needed. He led me past the back veranda into a detached small building beside the main house. From the outside, it looked like a store or generator house. But when he unlocked it, the stench hit me like a slap. Pure decay. I covered my nose and followed him in. It was a toilet, not an ordinary one, a broken, stained bathroom with mouldy tiles and flies buzzing everywhere. In the bathtub was a girl, dead, naked. Parts of her chest were cut open. Her ribs were broken, wide apart. Her stomach was empty. Her tongue had been removed. One of her legs had a long, deep gash from hip to knee. Blood was dried into the corners of the tiles like fingerprints. I clutched my chest, gasping. Her skin had started to darken from decomposition. Her mouth hung open. Her eyes, God, her eyes, were staring at me, glassy and soulless. Joseph whispered, "That was Peace." She was here just last weekend. I turned and vomited. My knees buckled and I slumped to the floor. Joseph helped me up. "You see now? I'm not lying. That man is a devil." My phone vibrated in my back pocket. Ifeanyi. His text read, "Got your location. I'm mobilizing my men now. Stay calm." I felt hope for the first time in hours. "I've alerted my brother," I told Joseph. "He's in the Navy. They'll come." Joseph looked relieved but cautious. "You have to survive till then." I nodded. I wiped my face, straightened up, and marched back into the main house like nothing happened. David returned not long after. This time his demeanor had changed. He smiled, but I could tell it was strained, like he had something on his mind. He held my waist and whispered, "Hope you didn't miss me too much." I giggled. Of course I did. He asked if I wanted anything to eat. I lied and said I wanted to go out and get a few things. Chocolate, hair cream, roll-on, even lip balm. David paused for a moment, then said, "All right. Let's go together. I'll drive." I rushed back upstairs to change clothes. In that moment, I packed only what mattered: my tights, singlets, underwear. I dumped them into my handbag. My other clothes and makeup I left behind. I didn't care. We got into his car and drove off to the nearest mall. Inside the mall, everything felt normal, too normal. People were shopping, music was playing, perfumes floated in the air. I kept glancing at him. He looked relaxed again. Maybe he thought I was fully under his spell. While we walked through the aisles, I picked random items just to look normal. I slipped my phone out and turned my live location on again. Ifeanyi would need to see exactly where we were. "Let me quickly use the ladies," I said, handing him my shopping basket. "Okay, I'll be at the counter," he replied, smiling. As I turned toward the restrooms, I ran, not walked, not fast-paced, ran. I didn't even go into the toilet. I darted straight to the back exit of the mall, burst into the bright sun, and flagged the first bike I saw. "Go, just go," I screamed. The rider didn't ask questions. He zoomed off. I looked back once. David had come out of the mall, scanning the area with wide eyes. He turned around, searching. But he couldn't see me. I called my brother. "We're 10 minutes away. Don't stop till you get to a safe place." Ifeanyi barked over the phone. 10 minutes later, I was with the Navy and mobile police at a checkpoint. I watched as they drove back to the mansion with sirens and guns. I was trembling in the van, hugging myself. By the time they entered the house, David tried to act surprised, until they found the body in the toilet. Until they found surgical tools, gloves, blood bags. Until Joseph testified. I waited outside the estate gate, sitting in a police van with a wool blanket wrapped around my shoulders. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Even after they gave me water, even after I was told I was safe, my body was frozen in shock. I watched as the team of Navy men and mobile police officers stormed into David's compound. Ifeanyi, my brother, had his service pistol tucked into his trousers. I'd never seen that part of him before. Intense, commanding, all business. 10 minutes later, David was dragged out of the house in handcuffs. His white shirt was wrinkled. His gold wristwatch was gone. He looked like an ordinary man now. No charm, no fake dimpled smile, just a criminal with fear in his eyes. The moment he saw me, his lips twitched. "You planned this," he hissed. "You tricked me." I didn't respond. I just stared at him, the man I had once called baby. Inside the house, the police found everything Joseph had said and more. Tools soaked in dried blood, expired surgical gloves, multiple phones, over 20, each saved with female names, different fake SIM cards. And then the horror, the freezer. One officer came outside and whispered something to Ifeanyi, who flinched and walked away with clenched fists. Later, I would learn that in that freezer were 4 kidneys, 2 livers, 3 hearts, a bag containing what looked like a human scalp, each carefully packed in plastic bags. David wasn't just a scammer, he was part of a large organ trafficking ring. They preyed on desperate women looking for love, gained their trust, then harvested their bodies for the highest bidder. He was the face they used, the charming front, the clean smile behind the blood-soaked curtain. Joseph, the cook, gave a full statement. He removed his wrapper and head tie right there in front of the police, revealing a slim young man underneath the disguise. His real name was Chuka. He had once been kidnapped by David and forced into servitude. When he tried to escape, they threatened to kill his younger sister. He stayed because he had no choice. But helping me escape was his redemption. They took both Chuka and me to the police station for a full report. I sat under flickering light, answering questions from tired-faced officers. Did he ever mention others? No. Did he pressure you for money? Number, he gave me money. How long had you known him? Barely 3 weeks. They shook their heads in disbelief. One even muttered, "These boys have turned love into blood business." The case made the news by Monday. Dating app horror, Navy officer's sister escapes notorious organ trafficker in Lekki. People started calling me, friends, old classmates, even my pastor's wife. Everyone said, "God saved you." Yes, he did, but I didn't feel saved. Not yet. I still saw that girl's body in the toilet whenever I closed my eyes. I still smelled that mixture of death and bleach. I still heard David's voice saying, "You have kind eyes." My brother begged me to stay off social media. He deleted the dating app from my phone himself. "You go love, love. You for love your way into the mortuary," he said jokingly, but his voice cracked near the end. I went home, took the hottest bath of my life, and burned every clothing I wore that weekend. It felt symbolic, like shedding skin. My mother prayed over me for hours, laying hands, sprinkling anointing oil until I cried. Not because I didn't believe, but because I knew I almost died looking for love. A week later, I sat in church for Thanksgiving, wearing a white gown, standing in front of the congregation. The pastor gave me the microphone. At first I couldn't speak. Then I said, "I used to wonder why men didn't approach me. I thought something was wrong with me, but God was protecting me from men like David." There was silence, then tears, then applause. That day I realized I wasn't invisible. I was covered by grace, covered by instincts, covered by the stranger I once helped at Tejuosho Market, whose fake silence saved my life. David was tried in court. His case was fast-tracked due to the high-profile involvement and evidence. Witnesses came forward. The families of missing girls were found. Photos recovered from his phones helped identify 5 other victims. He was sentenced to death by firing squad. As for Chuka, he was placed in witness protection, granted a new identity, and relocated. I never saw him again, but I pray for him. I still get scared sometimes. I still jump at random noises, but I'm alive. And that, my friend, is enough. For more stories, please subscribe.